I like working hard.
Okay.
Okay.
Let everybody know.
This is the eulogy that I wanted to give for Reuben that I couldn't give. And since I couldn't give it, Peggy still wanted me to say it to you what I was going to say. And I'll give you a relaxed version of it, meaning that I won't be so formal as if I was up there doing it. But let me start off. Okay. Reuben Castillo, husband to Peggy, father to Ryan and Reagan, brother to Rocky, Ronnie, and Penny, now deceased, son to Joe Ramirez and Mary Ramirez, now deceased, uncle and relative to his family members, cousin to me and my sisters and brother, and friend to so many people. Every time that Reuben walked into some public place, everybody knew him, and he knew everybody. On an earthly level, those of you who knew him know that he fought in the Vietnam War. He believed in his country and was willing to risk his life for it. He is part of our national treasure of those who fought for our country. On a spiritual level, some of you know this about him, and others might not know. And that is that Reuben was a highly religious man. He was truly a man of profound faith. Yes, he could shoot the bull with the best of us, beat us at pool, drink beer, and have fun with friends at Molly's. But underneath all of that, he was a true believer in his faith. Let me tell you about what I came to know as I knew him over the years. He had an experience that few of us have. He had a near-death experience, an experience of dying and coming back to life. This changed him because, one, he was no longer afraid of dying. He was at peace, and he was at peace that comes after death. He knew that. He knew the peace that comes after death. He knew that without a doubt there was another side, which we call heaven. He knew that our relatives who had passed away before us would be on the other side waiting to greet us. He had crossed over and seen the being of light, which we call God. Remember that it is written in Scripture, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Reuben saw the light. He told his sister Penny right before she died to not be afraid. Everything was going to be okay, to just go where Mama was, to look for Mother, who would be waiting there for her. The rest of us have faith that heaven and God exists, but Reuben knew this for a fact. He had been there and come back. I don't know how many of you knew that he had had a near-death experience. So he was not afraid to die because he knew what was on the other side. For those of us of lesser knowledge on the other side, let me just say that science and religion agree on one thing, and that is we live in 3 dimensions now, but there are more dimensions than we know. Scientists and mathematicians and physicists say that string theory proves that there are at least 10 dimensions and probably as many as 26. That is what scientists at Einstein's level have already proven in theory. And those other dimensions exist right alongside us now in the present. We just can't see them. Scientists say that sometime in the distant future, science will help us to see these other dimensions. So I like to think that Reuben just left us to enter another dimension, a sacred dimension where God exists. So Reuben is right there, right here among us. He's just in another dimension, which is spiritual and sacred, which is a dimension that we can only enter upon death. This dimension is invisible to human beings, but it is there all around us. Faith and religion tell us that there is another side, another dimension we call heaven and where God exists. Science tells us it exists and has been theoretically proven with string theory. Reuben is here now. He has fulfilled God's will.
Very good.
That's all.